Okay. So I made a post about portobello mushrooms. These are them right here. You can see they're like the same size as my hand, right? I made a post about these, and I think I'm gonna go into a little bit more detail about them, or at least try and clarify it. I'm not facing the camera or anything, so if y'all are saying anything, I'm not gonna be able to see it unless I wrap around to the front of it. So if I'm not saying hey or anything like that, that's why. First and foremost, to clean them, all this dirt and debris, all you gotta do is just wipe them off. That's all you gotta do. Okay? So let's get these nice and wiped off first. And then I'm gonna go into the different ways that I was cutting them and different ways that they was getting prepared and cooked. I think right now I'm just gonna use them for like a spaghetti. Plus, I've had these been sitting in the fridge for a minute, so they got to get used. They got to get used today. I'm not trying to throw them away because that'd be so wasteful. You can find these in the grocery store. A lot of times they come packaged up in like 4 or 5. I think Kroger's will have them packaged for like 2 or 3. Whole Foods usually has them packaged of like 4 or 5. Another way that you can get them, and Kroger's will do this, you can get them in bulk. Up here we got like a Giant and a Harris Teeter. Giant will have them in bulk. And they're like $1 a piece, which is a lot better than just getting a 4-pack for $5 or $6. So I prefer to get them and just buy them separately. Because like I said, they're just $1 a piece. So we're just gonna get these all cleaned off first. Pieces that's falling off, I'm just throw them out. There's enough mushroom to go around. I'm not too pressed. So this last one. The portobello mushroom is the adult version, or the mature version of your baby bella mushrooms. Your baby bella mushrooms are going to be the small brown mushrooms that you see. What you usually find next to them is like a white mushroom. They're the exact same thing. A brown mushroom is just a more mature version of the white one. And then these portobellos are more mature versions of the both of them. This is the mushroom that people start off with when it comes to like remaking steaks. They'll just like press them down while they're on the stove. And yeah, let me grab a knife. Oh, hold up. No, let me grab a spoon. Two other things when it comes to cleaning and taking care of these mushrooms. So these stems that we have, all you have to do is snap them to the side. That's all you got to do, and they come right off. Snap right to the side. People will leave the stems on. I know for like the baby bella mushrooms, they'll leave them on. When you go to like hibachi restaurants, that's why the stem is still on them, and they'll just cook them as is. You can leave them that way. You don't have to take the stems off. But for how I'm cooking them, well, just overall, I prefer to take them off. Second thing is these right here, they're like gills, okay? So I know it may be a little difficult to see, but we can just scrape that out and not have to deal with it, okay? You don't have to scrape them out, but if you want, a cleaner mushroom, just take it out just like that. And then let me dump this real quick so you can see what it looks like once it's all scraped out. Okay, so big difference between them. This one, of course, still has its gills inside of there, and this one has, this one I just cleaned them out. I'm just making like a regular spaghetti to go with these. I just have to use them, so I'm just gonna take the time to talk about them while I'm preparing them for that. But yeah, this isn't necessarily gonna be like a cooking video. I guess more like an instructional video, because one of my last posts that I did, I broke down how to use them in the kitchen, but maybe a video can better clarify what the post was saying. So I said, get these all nice and scraped out. You see it's like nice and like a lighter brown or a white up under there. A person that I follow, Crush Foster, he actually used these to make like a mushroom soy sauce or aminos type sauce. I haven't tried that for myself. But I definitely just looking at them, I can definitely see that would work. So every part of the mushroom is usable. You don't have to scrape them out. You don't have to take the stems off. Like I said, that's just what I usually do when it comes to these. And then just to get like a cleaner mushroom to cook with. So it's a bit better to have this already done before you start cooking. Like I said, all of this is just a part of the cleaning process, so it takes a little bit, but it's optional. You gotta do it if you don't want to. I'm just dumping them in the trash can over there. That's why I keep walking away. And then we're going to get into the next part, and I'm going to talk about the different cuts that I made. That way there's a visual representation on my page instead of just, a bunch of posts talking about what you can use with them, but no pictures to go along with it. So, alright. All that is done. Let me wipe this off a little bit. Give myself a clean space. Wipe my own hands off. So the first way and easiest way that you can have these, let me wipe my knife off, is to slice them. Now, a slice sounds exactly like what I'm saying, just like that. Okay. Let me hold this knife the right way. So, slices. This is what they look like. These are what slices are gonna look like, okay? Thin, nice cuts. These are going to be perfect for like burritos. You could probably even find them on like hot bars if they're doing like tacos and stuff like that. Tacos, nachos. One of the more recent ways I've been cooking these is I will just bake them in the oven. So I don't even like no stove. I'll marinate these for a bit, chuck them right in the oven a good 25-30 minutes, and then they're done. The next way, and I can probably still just use the same one. So the next way would be chops. Okay. And actually, well, no, because this is how I want them for this spaghetti that I'm going to have. So chops. Nice size. All right. And then if anything, you can quarter them quarter them, six them, fifth them, however you want to call it, where they still have a substantial size to them. You see. So a cut like this is going to be real good for like a stew, putting them beside some potatoes. It's actually really good. You marinate them with like some coconut aminos, some beetroot, salt, pepper them down. Cook them on each side, cook them on each side so they brown evenly. Perfect. I actually need to grab a bowl so I can put these inside of and get them off to the side and out the way. Something like this is cool. And then, there's also, if you want to dice them down so even smaller than this, it's probably a little bit easier to do with like a baby bella mushroom. So that's going to mimic your like ground pieces, ground meat, things like that. It's a lot easier to use a ground mushroom, especially if you're not used to eating mushrooms, but you want to start incorporating them into your diet and your daily meals, because you won't notice them as much. Great for going on top of pizzas too. If you are wary of the way that they're going to taste, don't be, because mushrooms will take on whatever taste you want to give them. Okay. Then you got the mushroom just whole as itself. You use the mushroom just whole. That's how we get our steaks. That's how you can replace those. You might find restaurants that use them for like burgers too. So there's whole. And then the last one that I want to talk about is another one that I picked up from Crush Foster's page, where you use this to mimic like deli sliced turkey. So, and I know it sounds kind of crazy, but we're going to cut these on like an angle right across the top. And that was the main one that I was a little wary about how to explain it. So I felt like I needed to actually show. So you see, you're going to skim it right across the top. You see the way this looks? Right across the top. And then you want to just make sure to actually follow the shape of the mushroom so you can get the kind of piece cut that makes sense and it's still thin enough to work with. See? A little more delicate to go with, but and I can scrape some more of these out too while I'm at it. It's a little more of a delicate cut. Maybe using the size knife that I'm using may not be the best, or maybe it's just not, the most sharp. But yeah, so like little pieces, and then you can just toss these in the air fryer, put a little bit of oil on top of them with some salt and pepper, let them cook for just a little bit. And you can also have these raw as well too. That's why they sit at the salad bars. So you see, yeah. Great for sandwiches, wraps. Y'all been up inside Subway. Some deli sliced goddamn turkey gives. Shit. I ain't gotta explain it to y'all. I just gotta show y'all how we get there. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, you would just do the whole piece. You would just keep going until you can get it as thin as possible, and then then you good. Shoot. You want to try and make sure that you can get the widest pieces, though. I will say that. So, yeah. See what I'm saying? Is there anything else that I want to say about these? I'm going to just get these cut down because I am going to need them. Don't think you only have to cook stuff on the stove. Don't think you only gotta cook stuff on the stove. You can definitely make things in the oven. You can definitely just make stuff in the oven. Like I said, which one is that? Both of y'all are out. Shut it. All you got to do is just put them in the oven at like 400 for a good 25 to 35 minutes. What is something? Let me show you. I'm always showing this. This is one of my favorite things that I like to use for it. Coconut aminos. Is that gonna focus on it? Coconut aminos. All right. Simple truth. You can find this up in Kroger's. I think you can find it in like the natural aisle. Is it a natural aisle or is it just a? No, in the Asian aisle. My bad. In the Asian aisle with like the soy sauces and the sesame oils and stuff. Whole Foods has a brand of it. Wegmans has a brand of it, but their brands I'm not the most fond of. They taste a bit bland. Simple Truth's brand it's sweet. So if you've got more of like a sweet tooth, this would be a go-to. Other than that, you know, if you're just looking for a regular soy sauce just to get you going, Wegmans or Whole Foods, they both definitely got one. Harris Teeter also sells Simple Truth. They also sell that brand. They also have their own like tamari sauce, I believe. I don't know too much about that. And I'll use this as like a marinade, so like the base for a marinade when you're making things like a teriyaki sauce. Soy sauce, you know, using the soy sauce just in general for like, I mean, shit, you could use it as a dressing. You could use it as a marinade. Just throw a couple more seasonings inside of it to get you going. And another thing that I like to pair with it is, where's it at? And I just got this one out of Trader Joe's, some date syrup. Date syrup is going to give it like a more rich taste to go with it. When you see, you know, like our Asian fellows, when they get to cooking, they'll usually put like a sugar with the coconut aminos. Like I told you, this is already sweet. It's not going to make it any more sweet than it is, to be honest with you. It's really going to give it more of like a rich, deep flavor. And yeah, but that's like, I'm like just now discovering that for myself. So I've been trying it out just to see what it gives. If it makes any sense, like this flavor kind of sits on top of everything, you know? It doesn't, when you just use it by itself, it doesn't taste like everything is really incorporated into it. But when you add the date syrup with it, or your coconut sugars, your sesame oils, and your other seasonings, it feels like the flavor, or it tastes like the flavor sits a lot deeper. You can kind of taste it a little more on the back end rather than the soy sauce kind of like punching you in your face, as salty as it can be when you're first eating it. So, like I said, we got like a turkey cutlet, a small dice or a small chop. We can leave them whole. We got slices, nice thin slices, and we got our large chops. And I believe these are all the ways that I explained them in one of my last posts. And yeah, I'm gonna get back to making what I'm making. Y'all be easy.